What's up, you guys? Welcome back to an all-new episode of the Cover 3 podcast. And today we're joined by our special guest, Mike of SF Gold Rush. What's up, Mike?
What's going on, guys? Thanks again for having me on. Appreciate it. Good to see you.
Of course. And of course, we're always joined by, these two, which is Sterling Bennett of 49ers Access Podcast and Aaron of 49ers First Takes. Guys, how are you doing today, Sterling? I know you are south of San Francisco, so how is it in Southern California?
The weather's starting to actually get a little warmer, which is actually a good thing. We're going back up north for Christmas and the New Year, so we're soaking in the sun while we can, but eager to watch the Niners play again this Sunday. The bye week was not fun, rather boring and uneventful for the 49ers, so happy to be back with you guys here on this Friday afternoon.
Oh, it was completely boring. I was losing my mind. I was like, dude, I couldn't stand it. I really couldn't stand it. Aaron, bye week, how'd you do?
I did great. I actually took a nap on Sunday and no indigestion, guys, because I know you guys had a problem with that intro last week. So.
Oh, yeah.
It was good.
Reliving that, yeah.
Nothing like spending a 25-degree day indoors watching football. It was pretty good.
Nice.
Oh my gosh, that's just too much. It's too much. So
sounds terrible.
Yeah, it really does, especially for the three of us who live in California. And yeah, no thanks. However, the Niners are also in California, and they have a home game this Sunday against the Tennessee Titans. Cam Ward and the horrible Tennessee Titans are coming into town to take on the San Francisco 49ers. Now, this could be a really big game for San Francisco. If they somehow screw this up and lose this game, the playoff implications are huge. However, I really don't see them losing this game. They have to really beat themselves or take on massive injuries, knock on wood, if they were to lose this game. But nonetheless, we are going to break down this game and the matchup a little bit later in the show and kind of get you ready for Sunday's kickoff for Niners versus the Tennessee Titans. However, before we do any of that, I do want to say that this, where is it? We're going to head into our 49ers injury report brought to you by SeatGeek.com. Use promo code DreAreaSports to save up to $20 on your first purchase over at SeatGeek.com. Also use promo code 49ers Access to save an additional $20 off on your first purchase over at SeatGeek.com. You want to go to the game? You want to support the team? Then do so and use those promo codes and save yourself some cash to get some food, some beer, whatever you want. It's on us. Dre Area Sports and 49ers Access. Use the promo code. All right. That being said, here is an injury report. This comes courtesy of Nick Wagner via Raj from our SF Niners. The Niners did not have, for the third straight day, Sam O, Tatum Bethune, Nick Martin, and Eric Kendricks. We kind of knew these guys weren't going to play this week, although Eric Kendricks was probably the one that we were hoping to get this week. But it sounds like because he's been on the couch, not in NFL games, he got back out there, pulled a Frank Ragnow, and now he's a little hurt, although Ragnow ripped his hamstring off his bone, so I don't know what the heck. I don't know what kind of physical he was doing, but I'm not going to have these guys. But again, I feel like Samo and Bethune and Martin, those guys were probably never going to be back this week anyway. They were going to come back against the Colts. But again, we're not going to have Eric Kendricks. But we will be getting some guys back. We're going to be getting Eddie Pinheiro, the kicker, which is a big deal because he's been great for us. And also, Yatir Gross-Matos is coming back for this Sunday's game, who's probably one of our best interior pass rushers. So it'll be interesting to see how they utilize him on the defense. But let's start with Sterling. What do you think about the guys who are out and some of the guys that are coming back for this matchup against the Tennessee Titans?
Yeah, I think it's great to have YGM back, a guy that I know he's caught in the ire of the fan base, high price tag guy. He's been often injured, got hurt trying to return a couple weeks ago and got placed on IR. But glad to have him back. This team needs some pass rushing help. I know it's been a big topic of ours on the show and many others on their own shows. And I think to get him back on the interior will help players like Keon White and Clelin Ferrell and others get home out to the quarterback. And for a hopeful playoff run. You want to have your dogs at the ready, and getting one of your best backs certainly help. I am a little bit concerned about Eddie Pinheiro. You just know kicking injuries are always different and they can linger, and guys can look healthy and maybe come back, but aren't the same. So I'm holding out hope he's fine. I believe he's okay, but you just never know. I also just simply don't care Nicholas Martin or the rest of those guys aren't playing. Like Eric Kendricks hasn't played all year. Somehow a 44-year-old grandfather and Phillip Rivers can maybe start on Sunday for the Colts, but Eric Kendricks can't come off the couch to play linebacker.
Yeah.
Crazy things. It's just crazy. That said, I think, Curtis Robinson hasn't been great, but he's been fine. I think of that grouping, you'd probably want Bethune back simply because the Titans' rushing offense has been better in recent weeks, jumping from 31st to 18th in the last month or so. So Tony Pollard's back for them, and you have your big thumper in the middle of your defense. But other than that, I mean, this is the exact same defense that beat the Browns. It's the exact same defense that beat the Panthers. So, they're going to go out there and win this game. And if they don't, my God, this defense better play well, because if they don't, it's just, we're not talking playoffs or seeding. It's like, can you get in still when it's all said and done?
Okay. Aaron, what do you think about Yetur Gross-Matos coming back? Think he'll make a difference, or do you think this is just another body and the same results?
Just how long can they, what's the over under, how long before he re-injures himself, or is he going to re-injure himself? It's a worry of mine. I know it's a worry of Mike's. Me and Mike have been pretty outspoken about the injuries.
Don't speak for Mike.
Oh,
okay?
no, I'm going to let him
Don't
speak
for me. I'll say that the exact same thing.
Yeah, I'm worried. I'm worried about him. He's been hurt the last 2 years since we've had him. But he does make a difference interior wise. Against the pass, which is something the 49ers could desperately use right now. The Kendricks one, I wasn't I wasn't surprised. I just wasn't. For some reason, I saw the report in Raj's channel or YouTube or X or whatever. And I was just like, why am I not surprised that man is injured and he's not going to play for us? It's just been that kind of year. It's par for the course. Didn't realize that all of them were not going to be ready. I know I saw a report before the bye week where it talked about 4 players or something, and about all of them having a chance to be back after the bye week. And that ain't going to happen. So, like you guys said, it's the same group that's been doing it the last couple of weeks. Losing to the Titans to me would be a real kick in the balls. And I think it would spell doom for my expectations of just what the Niners could actually do in the playoffs. So,
okay, Mike, we're getting Yetur Gross-Matos back. We don't have those other band of dudes. Do you think it makes a difference that we don't have those guys, or do you think those guys are a difference maker on the field?
Well, let me tell you, I think it shouldn't make a difference. Let me start with that because of this team that we're playing. If we're playing the Bears or Seattle, I would be more concerned. Getting YGM back, it's great. I'd almost want to save him for the Bears or even the Colts, next week. I just don't want to use any snaps where he could possibly get hurt, because I don't think we should need him to beat the Titans. Eric Kendricks, I mean, you can't miss what you never had, right? I mean, dude never stepped on the field, so it is what it is. Curtis Robinson, you should be able to do a serviceable job this week against, Cam Ward and this Titans rushing offense. I know they can run the ball still, but the expectation's pretty low. I think the biggest person that we're getting back, honestly, is Eddie P. Because he's the one that can get you 3 points from farther out. He can change field position. Just being able to score at, kicking a field goal at the 45-yard line is pretty big, which, again, it's the Titans. We shouldn't be relying on field goals, but if you're going to get somebody back that can swing a game, it's going to be Eddie P.
Okay. And getting ADP does help. I mean, look, he's been a very clutch here since we had him. Sterling, what's up? What's up?
I was just reading the comment by the
okay. Yeah, I mean, if Sterling was the quarterback, we probably could beat him. Just straight hand the ball off. That's it. Don't do anything else. Just hand the ball off.
Check down Merchant, Sterling Bennett playing quarterback.
That's it, man. That's it. But I am excited about Yetur Gross-Matos and what he brings to the defensive line. He is one of our better interior pass rushers. He has a PFF grade of 75.1. Although it does say not enough snaps. So he does need to get on the field more, but when he has been, he's done a good job. He's 6'5", 265, and he's only 27 years old. I mean, the guy's still relatively young. So if this guy can make a difference out there, just get more pressure on the quarterback, it's going to make a huge difference for San Francisco, who really, on third downs, I mean, what is their blitz package or their pressure package? It's just Huff, Keon White, and then whoever they want to put in the middle, maybe Elliott or Kalia Davis or Alfred Collins, but still, now you can add a guy like Yetur Gross-Matos to get more speed and more pass rush, which is something that's always good for any team, especially San Francisco, who's struggling in the pass rush category. Now, another thing I wanted to ask you guys was, when it comes to a guy like Alfred Collins, I mean, this guy has been playing out of his mind, and I think that the fact that you had these guys go out, guys like Bosa, guys like Michael Williams, it seems like Alfred Collins is really stepping up and being that run-stopping, gap-filling threat in the middle. Mike, let me ask you, have you been impressed with the play of Alfred Collins so far?
I think he's been our most impressive rookie this season. I mean, no shade on Michael, but you know, he went out with injury earlier in the season, but you just didn't see that production. You didn't see that difference that he would really make in the defense. I mean, Alfred Collins, that game against the Rams, Week 5, Thursday Night Football, major play, and I don't think that's by accident. I think he has that talent in him to make plays like that. I was there for that game, by the way. Incredible when he did that. I lost my voice on that play. But I'm very, very impressed with Alfred Collins. I was very skeptical at the beginning of the season based on, they said he was out of shape. And I'm like, oh, no, here we go again. Same story, right? This could be a Javon Kinlaw 2.0. Who knows? And then, it seems like he's turning the corner and he's actually making a difference, and he's hustling out there and he's out of breath all the time, but he keeps going. And I love his intensity and his never quit attitude.
Yeah, no, I think he's been great. I love having him out there, and I think he's getting better in each and every week. Now, we did get some good news, though. Now, there was a report that Christian McCaffrey did not practice yesterday, and everybody was like, whoa, something's happening. But luckily for all of us, McCaffrey was back today. This comes courtesy of Matt Barrows, and he was out there running around back at practice, so he'll be a full go come Sunday, which, let's face it, Christian McCaffrey is a ginormous, if not the entire offense. I mean, everything centers around Christian McCaffrey, and if you watch the way they played it this season, it really shows you how important he was to this offense and why not having him last season was a huge difference maker. Yes, Jordan Mason, he did a good job, but he's not Christian McCaffrey in a lot of ways. So, certainly, let me ask you, since we've gotten Christian McCaffrey back, where would we be without him? Imagine if we didn't have Christian McCaffrey this season. How different would our record be at this point in the season?
Well, they've won 9 games right now, and he's been a big reason almost in all of them. So I would just probably inverse their record. They'd probably be 4-9. He touches the ball 20 plus 25 times a game, and I know there's been some inconsistencies on the ground, although that's not always his fault. It just and I think on Sunday against Tennessee, I don't think the Niners are going to have a very successful game on the ground, but his impact in the passing game for Brock Purdy, it calms everything down. It makes everything easier. We've seen a healthy Christian McCaffrey come here in 2022 and make Jimmy Garoppolo look like a great quarterback. And it was like, oh my God, like what's happening?
Yeah.
And the same goes for Brock and other guys that have played in between that time. You made Mac Jones look great too. It's like Christian McCaffrey, I don't want to say he's like the great equalizer, because that really doesn't, it's not even fair to him. He's the great elevator of quarterbacks. And I think his presence means so much to Shanahan's play calling, to the quarterbacks in the room, to the ground game, and also just simply trying to guard everybody else in the defense. When you have defenders that have to have their eyes in the backfield, although it hasn't happened much this year, guys can get behind the defense and guys can get open more. It's just Christian McCaffrey means everything. You take away this team's best offensive player, and really, if you think about it, imagine had McCaffrey missed the games that Kittle missed early in the season, and you just flip flop their injuries. They don't beat the Rams. They don't. They lose the Jaguars game still, sure, but they probably don't beat the Cardinals.
Game.
Yeah, and it's just he means so much, and you hate to look really super far into the future because one day he's not going to be a San Francisco 49er and he'll probably retire. But it's just while he's here, use him up while you can because he means everything to the offense.
Absolutely. Aaron, how important has Christian McCaffrey been to this offense this season?
I mean, go into training camp, go into the off season. His demise was greatly exaggerated. A lot of parroting of people parroting other people based on slow-mo videos and not a lot of actual deductive or actual real research. And, whether we believe that report or not, it did get people's minds thinking, is he really slower? Does he really look like less than what he's been? Oh boy, I don't know. He's been everything short of amazing. Yeah, the running numbers aren't there, but I mean, every time he falls, I'll tell you how important he is to me. Every time he falls to the ground and I see him on the ground, I'm thinking, oh, and then I see a hand come out from one of his offensive linemen to lift him up. Literally every game, I go through the same emotion every time I see him tackled. So he's been that important. I do think the record is drastically different without him. He's a safety valve. He's a tone setter. I don't know. His work ethic and how hard he plays is probably second to only maybe Kittle. Just the way he approaches the game, and I think a lot of guys feed off of that are on this team. So man, him being in the offense this year and being healthy has been nothing short of amazing.
No, he's pretty incredible, and the difference he's made has been pretty huge, based on what we saw last season. But and this guy at this point, McCaffrey's on pace for a 2,000-yard season, 1,000 yards on the ground, and 1,000 yards through the air. That's tremendous. Imagine if he was two players. Incredible. If you had a receiver that was approaching on 1,000 receiving yards and a running back approaching on 1,000 rushing yards, you'd be like, hey, these are two great guys. This is one guy who gets the ball nonstop. Now, I will say this. I thought Mac Jones got him the ball probably a little too much. He was just like, take it. Yeah. But it really got him going. I think Brock has done a better job at distributing the ball to the other receivers out there. This last game, I think he realized, like, okay, I really got to start utilizing Christian McCaffrey because this guy's always open. Go ahead, Sterling. Say something.
Am I wrong to think that Christian McCaffrey looks better on the ground the last month than he did to begin the season? He looks more explosive. He looks more agile. Like he's like picking up steam as the year ends.
Yeah,
am I crazy?
No, he just hasn't broken the quote unquote big run yet.
Yeah, he hasn't had the big run yet, but I think the offensive line has gotten better, and that's why you're seeing more running lanes for Christian McCaffrey because the O-line's getting healthier. Getting back Spencer Burford was huge because Connor Colby was a massive liability on the O-line. It really set them back. And then, of course, obviously, we got Ben Barch, and he's already gone. So, real quick, Mike, Christian McCaffrey, what are your thoughts on him?
Yeah, same thing. He is the offense. Without him, we're already in pre-draft talk about who we're going to select, next year in the draft. And like Aaron said, every time he falls down, I'm holding my breath. Every tackle, I'm like, oh, God, please get up. And, to go back on those reports of him, oh, he looks slow in the offseason. I mean, I didn't buy it. Honestly, I think he's fine. Yeah, maybe he started off a little bit slow, but I think people have to look at the offensive line that we had. And then not only that, but the reason why we can't break these big runs, in Kyle's scheme, the wide receivers have to be able to hold their blocks and block down, and they cannot block. These guys cannot block. And I believe that's the reason why Christian can't get to to those second levels and break it, because these wide receivers are just not doing their job.
Yeah. No, I think so. I mean, it takes a total team effort in the run game, and getting some of these guys back has definitely helped out in the run game. And obviously, George Kittle with his blocking, the old line's gotten healthier. I think Dominic Pooney has been getting healthier as season has gone on.
Yeah.
That knee injury he got on like the second or first preseason game. That was devastating. And then he still played. And I think obviously he was hurt the entire time. That's why he didn't look as explosive. But now he's starting to look a lot better. But Kyle Juszczyk, he had the fractured ribs. It looks like he may be a go this Sunday. I haven't heard any reports that he's not going to go. So that's a good thing for San Francisco, because obviously he's a lead blocker and helps with that offense. And lately, I would say that Juice has been getting a good chunk of big plays as well. They've been using him as a receiver to get big chunk yardage the past couple of weeks. So nice to see him coming back, and that's going to be cool. So let me ask you guys this. I saw this post, and I thought, you know what? This is a great question to ask the panel, and I'm going to go ahead and bring this up right now. What do you think is more likely to happen? Brandon Ayuk returning for a playoff run, or Fred Warner returning for a playoff run? Sterling, you're laughing.
Or a third option?
If you can only choose one or the other, what do you think is more likely?
I mean, I'm not going to lie to you. I think the rapture happens before Brandon Ayuk returns to the San Francisco 49ers. Like, it's just not going to happen. So I guess in this case, you'd go with Fred Warner returning for a playoff run. I don't know what game that would be. I know Fred is in the swimming pool. He's doing some some kind of fake jogging, kind of getting fans, riled up and whatnot. And he talked about, I think about coming back for the Super Bowl, and they have to get that far. But there's just no future with Brandon Ayuk playing for the 49ers again. So I'll just lean towards Fred in that case.
Mike, what do you think? Ayuk or Warner?
No, Ayuk, that's not even a question. That's like, he will never play another snap for the 49ers ever again. Fred Warner, I do believe if the Super Bowl was in Levi's Stadium, the Niners playing in it, he'd be like, suit me up. I don't care if I go out as just, honorary captain, or, I play one snap, but I'm playing a snap in the Super Bowl. And I think it would take a lot of people to stop him from doing that. So,
Aaron?
I don't know if it's what John Lynch at this point, and Kyle, what face they're saving by responding to the question of him coming back and leaving the door open. He doesn't want to be here. So if you don't want to be here, don't let the door hit you in the ass, right? Fred Warner, dude, that would be like Mike said, he's an honorary captain. That dude, Fred Warner, would be to see that. If we made it to the Super Bowl, would be nothing short. We're winning that game for Fred, or because of Fred, if that was the case. But it'd be Fred coming back, and that's almost the next to impossible. But Brandon Ayuk, see ya. Get out of here.
Yeah, I don't think Ayuk's ever going to come back. This is it. It's done. If he was going to come back, this would have been the week 2 comeback. I mean, he would have come. They would have opened up his practice window this week, and they're not. So I think the chapter is closed on Brandon Ayuk. Never playing another snap for the Niners again. That's just how it is. And even George Kittle comments on it, saying how he doesn't even want to think about it, because it's like, he had such great memories with him. He's a teammate, but you just got to move on. So having said that, go ahead, Sterling. I can hear you building up.
I was going to say, like, I know the media has to ask those questions to George and Brock, and like, I get it. It's their job. I've been in that room, and I get it. Right. But like, what do you expect them to say? No, we don't want Brandon Ayuk back.
Well,
we don't want our best receiver back.
There's hoping for somebody to be like, screw him.
But like, they're not going to do that. This team's never done that. This, like, whether it was Jimmy Garoppolo or Trey Lance or Deebo Samuel or Nick Bosa, even during those negotiations that those guys could have get dealt. It's just like, this team has never been one to speak ill of each other, knowing the ultimate goal is still within reach, right?
Mm-hmm.
And, if there is, and I think this is kind of what Aaron's getting at, of like, why do Kyle and John keep leaving the door open? And, I'm sure in some way it's probably to, just in case. And whether the odds are high, they're not. They're very, very, very slim, almost practically zero. But it's like, I don't know, like if there is this competitive nature in Brandon Ayuk where it's like, you know what, like my team is 12-4 and they're the number one seed in the division right now or the conference. Like, man, I can come back in the playoffs and I can just get my feet under me again. And I know there's no guarantees and there's more context into it, but I don't know, like it just feels as if the Niners are like, Pearsall hasn't played well. Jennings is okay. We don't really love Kendrick Bourne. Demarcus Robinson hasn't been who we thought he was going to be. Like, hey, Brandon Ayuk, if you want to come back, the door's open, and we can kind of let bygones be bygones for 3 or 4 games.
Right.
Again, it's slim, but I don't know. It's just funny to me. Like this team is always going to say we love our players. I love my teammates.
Yeah.
So it's like why do like even John Lynch said like no update. Kind of like stop asking me. Nothing has changed. So what do you expect?
Yeah.
Yeah. And this is a team in San Francisco that even through a bad season last season, how many fans were screaming for the Niners to fire Nick Sorensen? Fire him, fire him, fire Brian Schneider. Fire, was it Brian Schneider?
Yeah.
The special teams coach. Fire Brian Schneider. Get rid of him. Get him out of here now. But Kyle doesn't do that kind of shit. He's like, look, these are my guys. We're going to ride this out. And then after the season ends, we'll make that change if we deem it necessary. Because what does it do? It causes a lot more drama. It causes a lot more just controversy around your team that you really don't want to have. I mean, look at the Philadelphia Eagles. They won the Super Bowl last year. Now fans are clamoring in Philadelphia to get rid of Jalen Hurts, fire Sirianni. They just fired their offensive coordinator a year, or 2 seasons removed from firing, what's his name? Matt Desai, their defensive coordinator, offensive coordinator. That was such a train wreck, and yet they did it again. Yes, the offense has been terrible for the Eagles, but it's this late in the season, you're going to get rid of your offensive coordinator? I
agree. I think they should do it. I agree with those fans. They should fire the coach, bench Hurts, and fire their whole offensive staff. Do it,
Trade
please.
Saquon.
Yeah.
Trade Saquon.
Do it all. A.J. Brown, adios. Yep.
Just cut him. Make him a free agent. Aaron, what were you going to say?
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
Aaron, I'll let you go. We do have the official Niner injury report. The players that are out, Sam Okawanu, Tatum Bethune, Nick Martin, quarterback Curtis Rourke, and unfortunately, defensive lineman Yetur Gross-Matos will not be activated for this Sunday's game. Not 100% just yet. Did not re-injure himself. Just still making strides to come back, which again really shouldn't impact the outcome.
I'm good with that.
I'd rather
honestly,
for games.
The Titans suck so bad that they're like, hey, let's not bring.
We don't need
back.
them.
We don't need them. We'll win. Don't worry.
Kyle Juszczyk is cleared to play. So that's
there we go.
God.
Juice is back. The juice is back.
And the funny thing about Juice is I was actually kind of hoping that he was going to stay out because I want the Niners to use more tight ends instead of Juice, and maybe that can add a different element to the offense a little bit. Have Tonjes in there a little bit more.
This is
but
this was Aaron earlier when he read the injury report. He was just like, "Oh god."
Totally. No, man. Like, oh my gosh, if Princess Pearsall was doing anything this year, I think not the calling for Brandon Ayuk to come back or the discussion. Like, I don't think fans would care that much.
The yearning.
But
the yearning.
Brandon Ayuk, say what you want about him, when healthy, he's a pretty damn good wide receiver. And, I mean, Ricky Pearsall hasn't shown anything.
He did early on in the season. I still think that his knee is not 100%. That's why you're not seeing a lot of that. Maybe the timing is off, but
then don't play. Don't play.
But that goes against everything you've been saying. You're like, just put some dirt on it and get out there, you wimp, princess.
You called him a princess for 2 months, and now you're saying,
like,
why are you playing?
He shouldn't be here. He should be playing.
He
That's not
had a
smart.
bone bruise. There's many players that have played through bone bruises.
He injured
before.
his PCL. It was not a bone bruise. That's so much worse.
Listen, all I'm saying
It's
is
just
that
a scrape.
if he was
We'll
actually
just cut that part out and edit this out.
Yeah, edit
and
that
then
out.
we'll
If he was
start
actually doing anything,
Yeah.
the last
Jake
6
Invisible
weeks.
Dolges.
I feel like the conversation, the yearning, or the possibility of thinking like we could go to someone like Brandon Ayuk in the most impossible situation wouldn't be as much. It's the end for Matos. Yeah, he probably won't.
Jesus Christ.
Is that Aaron speaking or is that Grant Cohen? Oh my God. Listen to that. What a shot. What a shot. But let me ask you guys this. Look,
I hate that guy. Don't bring his name up in here.
we would love to have Brandon Ayuk back on the field. Obviously, that's not going to happen. If he was going to come back, he would already be at practice, already be getting ready, and likely we would come back against like a Steve-O, dude. Burn! Coming back against the Indianapolis Colts. That'd be my guess. That's not going to happen. He's not even on the field. He's not at the facility running around with them, so that's done. Now, what about Juwan Jennings? With his impending free agency coming up, do you guys feel that the Niners are going to retain Juwan Jennings, or is this the last dance for Juwan Jennings in this season? Or do you think San Francisco is going to bring him back? They are scheduled to retain or get back about $84 million over the next 3 seasons from the Brandon Ayuk contract. Do you think the Niners offer him a contract and keep him around after this season? Mike, what do you think?
I don't think so. I think that's going to run its course and it's over. I think, their little contract negotiation at the beginning of the season went off on the wrong foot. Juwan wanted to bet on himself. It hasn't worked out. He's not the same wide receiver that he's been, and he doesn't even I love JJ obviously, but he doesn't have anything that a lot of other wide receivers don't have. To me, I mean, he's not fast. He's not catching contested catches anymore. He's not third and Juwan. He's more like interception and Juwan. And when Purdy throws him the ball, I'm just like, oh, here we go. It's probably going to be another pick. And he's not really doing anything for the I just don't see the value of signing him to a contract when you can get Kendrick Bourne to come off the street and do what he did. Yeah. You know what I mean? And it's like I'm kind of over it. Like, let's just redo this whole wide receiver room and let's move on.
I mean, yeah, I agree with you in the sense that they brought in Kendrick Bourne. He produced a lot, but where has he been? The past 3 weeks, ever since Brock came back, Kendrick Bourne has just disappeared. Yeah, and maybe it's because Mac Jones had a better relationship with Kendrick Bourne, and he's played with him before, so there's that familiarity. But Kendrick Bourne has completely disappeared. The Bourne identity is gone. Yeah. But Aaron, do you think that Juwan Jennings will be back next season, or is this it for Juwan?
It's funny. I think me and Mike agreed on this a couple weeks ago when Mike came on the first time. I do think the Niners and him are going to reach some sort of agreement. They need some semblance of familiarity in that receiving group. Because if they're going to move on from Ayuk and they're going to move on from Juwan Jennings and they've second-guessed what they were doing with Demarcus Robinson, I mean, who do we have other than Pearsall? And Pearsall, up into this point, Princess Pearsall hasn't proven anything. And last year was last year, and the situation happened last year was tragic. This is this year. And yeah, if I'm the Niners, at least I give myself not necessarily a security blanket like on the field, but like a security blanket in the mental part of it where we're like, oh, at least we got Juwan. We have somebody here that knows the offense, somebody here who's, embodies what we like to do on offense, physicality wise. I just they're going to the next offseason is going to be scary, man. They need to redo that whole wide receiver core if that's the case, just based on where everything's going.
So, Mike, you say he's probably gone. Aaron says he thinks they work something out. Sterling, where are you at with this?
It's kind of a back and forth where, I think we all want to have Juwan Jennings back. I think we all want to have that presence back. You want to have third and Juwan back in this offense and being that big safety net. You saw what he can do in the Super Bowl. You saw what he can do last year. And I know the beginning of the season wasn't going well for him minus the Saints game, but he has 4 touchdowns in his last 5 games. He's been a big presence and a reason they're winning. And the blocking matters too on the interior and on the outside when it comes to freeing up Christian McCaffrey. So I don't know, like you can find guys that can replace Juwan Jennings. Like Mike said, other guys can do what he does at a much cheaper asking price, which I think his asking price was around $25 million per year, which he is not deserving of.
He's a 7th-round pick.
You just can't do that. And, honestly, if you want to talk about who can you get to replace Juwan Jennings, I think you watched him last night. Kyle Pitts, man. Forget the tight end stuff. Just put that dude in the slot and say, let's get crazy. Give me Pearsall and Kyle Pitts. And Kyle Pitts ain't going to ask for $25 million per year. Now, maybe the blocking isn't what Juwan is, but you can find guys in round 6 and round 5 and round 7, which this team has had much more success at doing so in the last couple of years to help block. And I always go back to what Sean McVay said in 2021 about Kyle Pitts.
What did he say?
Sean McVay was worried that when San Francisco traded up to the number 3 overall draft pick, who they took Trey Lance with, that he was scared they were going to draft Kyle Pitts. And if you put McVay in a corner and you have him saying, I was scared they were going to draft that guy and they didn't, what does that tell you? That McVay wants that guy, that he is praying to whatever God he prays to, that thank God they didn't get him in San Francisco. So
there's a lot of guys that we should have got that.
And do you think Juwan has a little bit of resentment towards the 49ers too? I don't know if JJ would even want to come back, honestly. Maybe he's a little angry at them because, they didn't pay him out and they put him through this contract stuff. And he's like, I was almost the MVP of the Super Bowl. I do this, I block, and you guys don't want to pay me. It kind of seems like there's a little bit of resentment there. So I don't even know if JJ would want to come back.
I mean, the thing is, though, is that, he's a big fixture in the offense. Obviously, if he stays here, he's guaranteed to get a certain number of catches and yards and play some scrimmage because he's already a fixture in the offense. I know that he almost won the MVP, but he didn't. And that's the same as you can say with Brock Purdy. Like, hey, he almost won the Super Bowl, but he didn't. It sucks, but he didn't. You look at Jalen Hurts. He sucks right now, but you're like, but he won the Super Bowl and he played hella good. So it's like, it just really
sucked.
He played hella good in the Super Bowl. He was throwing dimes.
That defense was doing a lot of the heavy lifting still.
Yeah, they were. The defense had the Chiefs defense on their heels. Like, but
what's up, Aaron?
Somebody in the comments calling me a Grant Cohn acolyte. I am not down with that man or his group. So let's just get some shit straight right now. My whole thing is
ABL and Ron Simmons in the chat.
Here's what I'll say. Niners suck at drafting early in the draft, right? Me and Mike have talked about this. It's just like it's mind-numbing, this attraction to the first round and keeping draft picks. There was a rumor, was it last year or the year before, that they had this interest in Diggs from Minnesota. You want to do something stupid, and when I mean stupid, I mean awesome this offseason. Figure something out and go trade for him, and then you can do what you want with any of the rest of these, whatever guys, Juwan Jennings.
Do you mean Justin Jefferson?
Justin Jefferson. Why did I say Diggs?
I know. I was like,
you know what I mean. Yeah, like that to me would be
at
like. At
least Sterling does. I was wondering, like, what are we talking about?
Joseph Gray was not following you, Aaron.
Herbert, get us out of here.
Cardi B in here.
Wait, what? I'm lost.
That's his baby mama.
That's his wife or baby mama.
Wife,
or, I don't know,
girlfriend, whatever they are. I don't know. It's not important.
It's not important.
All we need her is that Levi Stadium in the press box. Like, oh, no thanks.
There's so many players that came out the year we drafted Trey Lance in 2021. Yeah. When you look at it, it's like, oh my God. I mean, I don't know. Trey Lance, like Zach Wilson, Trey Lance, they sucked. And then we know that, what's his face? Trevor Lawrence, this guy.
He also sucks.
He also sucks.
Yes,
but
he does.
Look at everybody after the 3 quarterbacks. Kyle Pitts, Jamar Chase, Jalen Waddle, Penei Sewell. God, we could have used him. J.C. Horn, Pat Surtain, Devontae Smith, Micah Parsons. So the list keeps going. Mac Jones. It just keeps going and going. And like, can you imagine if we took any one of those guys? Can you imagine if the Niners took Penei Sewell instead of Trey Lance? Huge difference.
Yeah.
Or just didn't make a trade at all. That's what it all comes down to.
They could have ended up with who they trade with, the Bears?
The Niners?
Yeah.
The Niners traded with the Dolphins.
The Dolphins, the
And the
Finns.
Dolphins traded back up, I think.
Yep.
But I know they had I think it was
Yeah, I think
right
they were
around
at
here,
like
the
10 or
12
11 or something.
Yeah, they could have had Micah Parsons. They had a chance to get Micah Parsons. That would have been huge. Imagine having Parsons and Bosa on the D
Well,
line.
you can say what you want about Parsons. Dude stays healthy pretty much. I mean, Bosa is like every other year he has a season-ending injury. So, you know, just saying. Just saying.
Thanks a lot, Aaron.
Yeah.
Okay.
Brought the whole vibe down.
I know. So Juwan Jennings, we're a bit split on that. I think there's a chance that he does come back only because I know that Kyle Shanahan really likes him in the offense. He likes what he brings. He's a great blocker. There's a lot of things that Juwan does that he likes. And a lot of times when Kyle Shanahan likes somebody, they try and make it work. Look at Brandon Ayuk.
Well,
Kyle
I
Shanahan
was
comes
going to
in the room.
ask, do you think the Ayuk, the deal and how things fell apart so quickly, do you think that maybe the front office is like, no, you put your neck out on the line for a guy that doesn't want to be here anymore and cost us a ton of money. You don't get to do it again with Juwan Jennings.
Well, true. However, I think a lot of the
That's a
team
really good
likes
point, actually.
what Juwan Jennings brings in terms of his toughness, his team mentality. You know, he's somebody who rallies people. And look, I mean,
so that's the Browns. He's a hoe, I guess.
He's a hoe. What's his name? Shelby Harris.
Shelby
That
Harris.
man's a hoe. We talk about my grandma. So, but that's kind of a dog that you need in your lineup. But we'll see how it goes this offseason. I think there's a chance they bring him back only because they're saving money off the IU contract. But I think if they did, it's only going to be like a 2-year deal. I don't think they're going to give him a 4-year deal. And that's
Plus, everybody needs a
Juwan.
little hoe in their life. You know what I mean? At least one
Everyone
of
needs
them.
a little hoe. A little hoe.
Absolutely.
A little hoe. And I do think that Pearsall will have a bounce back year next year, and I think he'll still contribute this season as well. In fact, there was this post I want to share with you guys. This is courtesy of Coach Yak, where Pearsall talked about his struggles. He said, "Just handling what I can and control what I can control. That's always my mindset. As soon as I start worrying about the other things, that's when you're going to drive yourself nuts. Just knowing what I can control, and for me, it's being available when I can for Brock Purdy." Showing up 3 downs, making plays when the ball comes my way. Ultimately, at the end of the day, if I see a W on the board, that's all that matters. I don't care about stats. So
We do.
You do. Some words of wisdom from Ricky Pearsall, Princess Pearsall, if you ask Aaron.
Yes, right.
I still think he's going to contribute quite a bit, especially as we move into the postseason, which I do think the Niners will make the postseason. So I see him being a big contributor moving forward. Okay. Now, the question is, now that we got Brock Purdy back, now that we got George Kittle back, is Brock going to have enough to carry this team in the playoffs? And I ask that because, look, we know the struggles on defense. We know that the only guy they're getting back is Samo and Yatir Gross-Matos.
Someday.
So if that's the case, is Brock enough? Do you think he can lead this team to the Super Bowl in an NFC that is wide open? I would say even an AFC that's wide open. Imagine if the Niners land the 5th seed and get Carolina in round 1. You could almost say, like, hey, dude, Niners are going to win that game. If Brock doesn't throw 3 interceptions, they probably blow him out. Because, I mean, the offense couldn't do anything against the Niners. And then imagine the next round, let's say someone knocks off the Rams and you're playing against, like, the Packers or you're playing against, like, the Eagles or whatnot. There's a chance that the Super Bowl goes through all the way through Levi's each and every round based on who they're playing. So with that being said, Sterling, if you had to put a percentage on the chances of the Niners running the table and winning the Super Bowl, what is your percentage? What is the likelihood that Brock can lead this team to the Super Bowl, to the glory land?
Wow.
Valhalla.
It's a pretty loaded question because we don't know what the seeding will be at the end of the year. I think like almost every team right now, maybe outside of the Rams, a lot of the games are going to be based off matchups, and that's the NFL in general. But like take, for example, Seattle against Carolina. Yeah, Seattle's having a great season, but Carolina's defense has, gotten 6 takeaways against NFC West quarterbacks this year. Like Darnold has not been great in second halves. Like the Panthers may not be a good matchup for Seattle on the road in Seattle, I may add, or in Carolina, excuse me. I also think that, Green Bay, like they're having a hell of a season, and I think you could really put them atop the NFC when it's all said and done. But they barely beat the Bears, and there was some controversy in that game, and they're going to play them again in 2 weeks' time. The Lions could somehow sneak in still with the Bears continue to lose. That said, you can also make a pretty valid argument, and I know we kind of did it last week, that Brock Purdy could be the second best quarterback in the NFC playoff picture as a whole. Whether it's full on picture of playoff success and what he's done in previous years and what he can do to end the season, I trust him a hell of a lot more than the rest of the guys, maybe besides Jordan Love and Matthew Stafford. But I'll say running the gauntlet, which let's just take things as they are now. Give San Francisco a 35% chance. I think it's pretty high and higher than most would give them if you ask the rest of the world.
But do you think Brock Purdy's the guy who can do that? Do you have full confidence in Brock?
I have no reason not to. What has he done to show me he can't do it? Right.
Mm-hmm. I mean, he's had a ton of success in the postseason. Mm-hmm. The only thing that stopped him is his elbow getting ripped apart by Hassan Reddick and Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. Okay, so
it's not to say he shouldn't play better. Like Brock has to play cleaner football.
I thought Brock played phenomenal against the
Chiefs.
Cleveland.
Yeah,
it was actually Spencer Burford who stopped Brock Purdy.
That's true. Okay,
but I think
let's stop. We're going down a dark path.
Which, funny enough, knowing the fact that Spencer Burford's now our left guard, wouldn't it be pretty, I guess, ironic that if Burford goes down in the Super Bowl and Connor Colby trots out there, and that's the reason they lose again for a third time. But 35% is what I'll give Brock and San Francisco.
Aaron, go.
Pearsall, if you want to make at any point in the season, if there's a time where you want to step up right now and be something, which I think in direct correlation with Brock Purdy, the offense would be very dangerous. People say, well, what do the Niners got that, at offensively? Well, if Pearsall's hitting Juwan Jennings, you got Kittle, and you got Christian McCaffrey. That's enough. That's freaking enough in this particular playoffs with the teams there, even against a team like the Rams. I give the Niners about the same, maybe a little bit more, maybe like a 40% chance. Still nothing crazy. I still think the Rams are hella dangerous, man. If the Rams get the number 1 seed, and I know a lot of 49er fans are like, oh, we did it before. We've gone up there and they're dangerous. Stop. Yeah. Just stop. Full stop. They're good. They're really good.
I will say this though, Aaron, the Niners actually outscored the Rams from the second quarter on in that game at Levi's. I know it's context and everything matters, but
I know. You're right, and
you're healthier and everything. Like it just feels like the Rams are a damn good football team, and they could easily win the whole thing this year. That's how good they are. Stafford's an MVP and probably should win it. But even the Rams, that secondary is not that good. You can pass on that team at will if you have to win that game. And I'm kind of hoping it's Packers and Rams at some point. That game would be really fun to watch, knowing how good those quarterbacks have been in recent weeks.
Yeah, it'd be good to see them go against each other and knock one. If the Packers take them out, and it's like, oh, there's a chance. Because look, as good as Jordan Love is, he's susceptible to making bad decisions. And so, if I had a choice of going against either Matthew Stafford or Jordan Love, I'd rather go against Love because Stafford, and for the most part, unless he's playing against the Carolina Panthers, Stafford's not going to fuck up. He's going to do everything he can to dice you up, and when you watch Major League Baseball, you see pitchers go out there in the postseason, and they just absolutely dominate. And they're cerebral, and they just take their offense completely out of the game. And to me, when you watch Stafford play a quarterback, he kind of has that killer instinct where he's like, he could smell the blood in the water.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm going to go for it now.
He's a number one.
He's
a number one ace.
Yeah,
he's a number one ace.
He's a number one ace for sure.
Yeah.
Mike, what do you think about the chances of the Niners running the table? And do you have full confidence in Brock Purdy as your number 1 quarterback?
Yeah, I mean, running the table, obviously, that's pretty far, expectations. But I do think that the Super Bowl winner will come out of the NFC West. I don't think it's evenly weighted, obviously, 33% across the board. No, obviously, I think, the Rams probably 45, Seattle 35, and the Niners 20. But I think those teams are playing really good football right now. They have great defenses, and they can run the ball. But can Purdy do it? Yes. And he should, because he is a franchise quarterback. He's the $53 million man. He's the reason why he got that, that big contract. Hey, you have to support this team and carry it when the defense is struggling. That's why you got all this money, man. Go out and do it. And the offense is relatively healthy. We're missing a left guard right now. That's about it. So what's the excuse? I mean, Brandon Ayuk, he hasn't played a snap all season. I get it, but other than that, your offense is pretty much full go. So earn that money. You're the $53 million man. Carry the team and go do what you got paid to do.
Do you think it negatively affects the way Brock looks to maybe not the media, but to us as fans? People didn't like the deal when it first happened. Brock's overrated. He's a game manager, system quarterback. It's all CMC. It's all Kyle Shanahan. Let's say San Francisco goes to the playoffs, which seems pretty likely right now. Do you think if, let's say, the Niners win one game but don't go to the Super Bowl, maybe they lose in the divisional round or the NFC Championship, do you think it negatively impacts Brock Purdy's outlook from the fan base of, like, you aren't the guy? You can't get it done. Why are we paying you so much money? What do you think of that, Aaron?
I mean, it's only one team can win, and his story isn't written yet. So we don't know if he can't win it all. Maybe not yet, but, who knows? Niners come back next year healthy, maybe draft really good, maybe some free agent additions. That's the word I'm looking for. Like this whole thing, yeah, if he doesn't get it done, but like they're the Niners are pretty hamstrung right now. They got a lot of injuries and a lot of key places on defense. This whole thing, if they don't get it done, it's all on Brock Purdy. I disagree with that. Do I think Brock needs to kind of like time to step up and kind of start earning that money, so to speak? Yeah, it's time, dude. These last 4 games. You want to change the narrative in some people's minds that maybe you're not the guy. Start playing like it, and then a lot of people are going to shut up. So we'll see. But I don't think his story's written yet. And to say if they don't do it, it's all on Brock. No, I disagree.
Mike, before you go, we have a comment in the YouTube chat from Strawberry saying losing in the playoffs hasn't impacted how Allen, Jackson, or Burrow looks, which I think I agree with you, or at least Strawberry in the chat. And many people out there are saying the Niners should be at the top of the list to trading for Joe Burrow. We can get into that later. But Mike, what do you think about if Brock Purdy doesn't win or go to the Super Bowl this season? Does it negatively impact how he looks from the fan base standpoint of view?
I think maybe the casual fan, but obviously it depends how you lose that game as well, right?
Yeah.
Is Brock throwing 3 picks and, like he plays like he did versus Carolina, then yeah, people are going to start running their mouth a little bit, and, the narrative is going to get a lot louder than it is now. I'm a big Brock Purdy fan. I love him. I think he's the best choice for quarterback we have. All this talk when Mac Jones was in, we should just trade Brock and keep Mac. I'm like, come on, guys. You guys forgot how good this guy was during our Super Bowl run. And, things happen. The team has changed. He doesn't have the same weapons. The defense is not putting him in, better positions to win. But my whole thing is right now is Brock has to play well enough to win the game. He can't be the reason why you lose. So if he's the reason why you lose in the playoffs, the narrative is going to get louder. But as long as he plays good enough to win, then he's still Brock. I want my 30 for Purdy though, for sure. I want back up to 30 points. I'll get you for that.
The notion that Brock Purdy, it's all on him. I think there's a lot on his shoulders right now because of the fact that the offense is the healthier part of this team, and I think they're going to start leaning on their experience to get them to the playoffs. But if Brock goes out there and he has a game like Mike said against, like he did against the Panthers, it's not going to bode well for him in terms of the fan base and media. It's going to be a ton of pressure on him if he goes out there and lays an egg. I don't think he will. As long as he plays the way he played against the Browns, he was decisive, he was accurate, didn't turn the ball over, and he struck when he needed to. He went deep when he had to.
Absolutely.
If he's cerebral like that, then I'm telling you right now, there's a chance that the Niners go all the way to the Super Bowl this year because of the fact that there's so much parity in the NFL this season. It's really crazy.
It sounds like you want Brock Purdy to kind of take on the persona of Triple H, the cerebral assassin, bring out the leather and the jean jackets and the sledgehammer and pull it out
baby.
under the ring and start knocking dudes down with it.
But I mean, the thing too is that like with Brock, like he can't be the guy. Like he can't just be a gunslinger where he's running around just hucking the ball everywhere. And we saw him trying to do that against the Panthers, and it didn't work. And obviously, look, they have J.C. Horn, and they have the other guy, I forgot his name, but they had a pretty good secondary. But still, you can't be running around, throwing the ball around like that and think that, you're going to be able to hit these targets. He needs to be accurate, cerebral, and just follow the Kyle Shanahan offense the way he knows how to. And that is where he's going to find the most success. I feel like when he tries to cut loose and just starts chucking the ball around, that's when he runs into more problems. That's when he runs into more turnovers and puts the ball in harm's way. I want to see the Cleveland Browns game Brock Purdy for the rest of the season.
Why is he calling me Aaron Cole? I'm not saying that they're not.
He's just getting into your skin. Don't worry about it.
What the?
We have there was a question on X by Coach Yak. It says Grant Cohn asked Kyle Shanahan if he's talked to Ricky Pearsall or any player when they're not getting the ball to remind them he still has confidence in them. And apparently Shanahan responded, I only talk to people when they're not getting the ball, when I know how much you guys are hounding them for not getting the ball.
Well, there you go. Sounds like Kyle
The
Shanahan
disdain
response.
the man has for Grant Cohn is otherworldly.
Which is beautiful. And for you people to think that I'm somehow aligned with this man. No, if the Rams were to somehow lose in the playoffs, this thing is wide ass open.
Well, I mean,
and the
think about
Niners
this.
can take it. It's
can't.
gaped.
Think
Ooh, I
about
don't
this,
like
you
that
guys.
word. That's an ugly word. Don't say that word again. Gaped.
But you guys think about this. The Rams and Seahawks are going to play each other again this season.
Mhm.
So one of them is going to lose. And let's say it's the Seahawks, right? The Niners play them at home at Levi Stadium to end the season. If we beat them and take the series from the Seahawks, that's going to jump the Niners even higher up the standings in terms of their seeding. If they knock down the Seahawks and the Seahawks lose 2 more games, that's saying the Niners win out the rest of the season. So a lot of things can change based on the outcome of these last 4 games. And on top of that, we know the Niners are going up against the Tennessee Titans. I think a lot of us feel pretty confident the Niners are going to get this done. So that's why I haven't really spent much time on this because the Titans really do suck. Because there is one more topic I want to get to. And this is it right here. There's been a lot of talk. And the reason why I talked about Brock Purdy, are you confident with him as a quarterback? Because there's been a lot of weird rumors going around. And this is one of them. About trading for Joe Burrow. Look, I don't think this is ever going to happen. In fact, I wouldn't even do this trade. You're going to give up 2 first-round picks and Brock Purdy and Alfred Collins? No, I'm sorry. To me, this is outrageous for a quarterback.
I hate to disagree with you, homie, but that's Joe motherfucking Burrow. You got.
I love Joe Burrow. He's amazing, but I don't know. That's like a lot to give up for a quarterback.
I asked my brother, as a Dolphins fan, what he'd be willing to give up. He's like, I was like, would you give up 2 first-round picks and some other picks for Burrow? He's like, absolutely. You kidding me? Yes.
Because, I mean, he may go to the Rams. Imagine if the Rams get him to replace Matthew Stafford. Oh, my God.
And they actually have a
what
good
I was gonna
offensive
say. The
line,
Rams,
unlike the Bengals.
that would be a trade the Rams make,
Of course.
100%. That's what I'm worried about.
Because they've already retooled. And now they're like, hey, if we just add Joe Burrow and get rid of a bunch of our draft picks, we're there.
Yep.
People act like we'd be giving up on Purdy because like we're gonna send in, I don't know, some others, some scrubby. I mean, Joe Burrow has elite level skill traits, and he's been at the not the expense is what the word I'm looking for, but it's his offensive line, his defensive betrayed him. So like,
and Purdy does have a no trade clause. So he might be like, I'm not going to Cincinnati. Get the hell out of here. Sterling, what do you think about this trade proposal? Would you do it?
Man.
Oh my God, he would do it. Oh my God, he's considering it. He's considering it. I can tell.
I think there's no question that Joe Burrow is a better quarterback than Brock Purdy, right?
Yes.
Like that's
yes.
abundantly clear. Burrow when healthy, Purdy when healthy. There's a clear discrepancy in quarterback play.
Very
Burrow is one of the
different.
top 4 guys, elite arm strength, elite quarterback. He is unfortunately in one of the worst situations you can imagine next to the Jets and the Raiders right now in the NFL. But I think like realistically, this is not going to happen. Like,
no,
you can discuss it.
No.
You can say like money comes into play, trade clauses come into play. And, there was even a conversation, I think, of Dan Orlovsky of ESPN yesterday that, would Joe Burrow retire? And you saw Andrew Luck do this for very different reasons, although there are some similarities between them, of just organizations not putting their franchise quarterbacks in places to win and places to be healthy. I think San Francisco would not only be the best team in the league with Joe Burrow at quarterback, they'd have the best quarterback in the conference by far. And you haven't been able to say that really ever since Steve Young and Joe Montana.
Yeah,
that said, would you want to trade Alfred Collins, who is your best defensive tackle, your big run stuff, for somebody you brought Salah back for to get, and then 2 first-round draft picks on top of that, while also having to pay more money to a quarterback?
That's a lot.
And
True.
the dead cap hit
True.
to get like it's just like Burrow's making $55 million per year.
Yeah.
Purdy's making
Starts to fall
53.
apart.
It's like the
Become the
realistic
Bengals
end of
essentially.
things is like, no, you can't do this. But I mean, just simply Burrow, Purdy, would you make a trade? I mean, everybody would. Everybody would do it, maybe besides the Chiefs and the Ravens and the Bills. And those guys have the other 3 elite quarterbacks in the league. And but it's not going to happen by any means. Not going to happen.
And you'd essentially become the Bengals because you'd give away draft picks, you give away players.
I mean, you'd be exactly where you were.
Yeah.
2 years ago when you didn't have first round draft picks and you were still competitive.
The offensive line is horrendous, just like the Bengals. Compared to what they could be. So
right,
I mean,
but I get all that you're saying, but right now, if the season were to end today, and they came to you, Sterling Bennett, and you're the GM of the Niners, and said, "Hey, this is the offer. Do you do it?" I don't care about money. I don't care about stipulations. Just straight up fantasy sports. Would you do it?
Probably. Yeah.
I mean,
even with the injury prone part of it, it's
true.
I mean, you could say that, but Burrow played 17 games last year, and he's played 1 game less than Purdy has this season with the exact same injury, if not more.
Yeah.
Like,
okay, Mike.
Again,
Mike,
it's not going to happen, but still.
Mike. Would you make this trade if this was put in front of you, saying, "Okay, Mike, do we do this move, or do we stand pat? What do you do?"
Yeah, you take out all the how unrealistic this is in the first place and all the hypotheticals. But I mean, how do you say no to Joe Burrow? Under Kyle Shanahan, I think this dude lights up the league. I think he, like you said, he is the best quarterback in the NFC by far. And you keep him off the Rams because that's exactly where he would go.
Or the Eagles.
Second he demands a trade, he is absolutely going to the Rams, and the Rams have the draft capital to do it, and they'll find a way money-wise because they're so young on defense. But he is going to LA, and you will never win a game against them again.
Aaron, if this is put in front of you and you're in the front office, do you say let's do it, or do you say no way?
One's the top pick in the NFL draft. One is the last pick in the NFL draft. One has elite skill set. One does not. I love Brock Purdy. You guys know that. I am a Brock Purdy apologist, aficionado, whatever. But it's Joe Burrow. It's Joe Burrow. If there's 4 elite quarterbacks in the NFL, he's one of them. Out of the rest of the league, there's 32 teams in the league. 4 maybe have elite quarterbacks, and then everybody else is on the same playing field. Yes, you have to. It would be malpractice if you think that that's the determining factor of you winning a championship.
Well, if that's the case, then you guys are going to think I'm crazy because I wouldn't do this trade. And the reason why is because I feel like you're giving up way too much to make this move. I love Joe Burrow. I think Joe Burrow's amazing. But two first round picks, it's going to take more than that to get him. But two
Sterling
first round
Shepard.
picks.
You wouldn't give up 2 Ricky Pearsalls for him?
2 Ricky Pearsall. I mean, look.
Ricky and an Ayuk, they're both first rounders. How you doing?
Look, I would really contemplate this move a lot, but I just feel like that's a lot to give up on a team that's trying to rebuild right now, and they're still in their window. But man, that seems like a lot. That 2 first round picks is like, man,
we gave up 3 for Trey.
That was dumb.
He's improving.
That was dumb.
But like, put it into more context though. Like, I love Brock Purdy. There aren't many quarterbacks.
I'm a Brock Purdy fan.
Right.
So
And
am
like,
I.
there's not
That's the
many
problem.
quarterbacks that I would trade Brock Purdy for. I wouldn't trade him for Hurts. I wouldn't do it for Love. I wouldn't do it for Goff. Like, there's only 4 or 5.
You wouldn't trade him for Jordan Love right now. They said, hey, let's do it straight up swap.
No.
No. I wouldn't.
Even with the better physical talents?
And
He's
I
a
really like
turnover
Jordan Love.
machine.
I just wouldn't do it.
Jordan Love is a turnover machine in big games. He's
but I think like, so let's just do player swap. Like, Purdy goes to Cincinnati or whatever, and then Burrow comes to San Francisco, and you lose Alfred Collins and your 2 first round draft picks. Like, you still have your defense basically all in place. You still have Bosa, you still have Fred. Like, you pretty much have everything in order, and you lose future first round draft picks. But if you are to assume that this team is 9-4 right now, and you're putting Joe Burrow on this roster, like
With Kyle Shanahan?
and like they couldn't go toe to toe with Matthew Stafford. Like, you're walking in saying,
you're really
the
good.
defense isn't perfect. They're not great, but we can score 35 points a game.
Yeah.
And it's no shade towards Brock Purdy. He's an elite processor. He can move around. He's a playmaker. The arm strength isn't there, but Purdy does so many great things that other quarterbacks folks want to have ahead of him don't do, right? Love can't do some of the things Purdy does. He has the arm talent, but some of the mental stuff isn't there. Hurts is a freaking pumpkin. Darnold is not playoff proven. So it's like, and Joe Burrow's done the exact same thing Brock Purdy has. It's one of the big reasons why I'm higher on Brock Purdy than other guys are, because Burrow went to a Super Bowl, should have won. They lost to the Rams in 2021. And Brock lost to Kansas City. It's just like, you don't get an opportunity to trade for elite quarterbacks. San Francisco tried to get Matthew Stafford. The Rams swooped in. If you have an opportunity to do so, you do it, right?
That's more the reason than anything. You would trade for him because you don't want the Rams to trade for him.
I don't think that plays a factor into it, though.
No, you don't think that the Niners look at him and say,
I don't think you're playing keep away, trying to pay a guy $55 million to do it because somebody else might do it. Like, you just don't do those kind of deals.
Yeah.
But is it weird that I'd be more hesitant to trade Alfred Collins than Brock Purdy in that deal? Like, that's one guy where I'm like, hey,
tell you what
third
though,
round draft pick
you put
instead.
Brock Purdy in that offense with those receivers, and he'd have some pretty damn good numbers too.
I mean, yeah.
Okay,
But,
well,
yeah.
who knows if this trade would ever happen, right? But look, as we kind of round things out, let's go ahead and do our final score prediction as we get out of here. Sterling, Niners,
Yes.
Titans. What
Pissed a
is
lot
your
of people
final
off
score
today.
prediction? What's that?
So he pissed a lot of people off today
Oh, it's fine.
with
Who cares?
hypothetical
I know.
garbage. That's never going to happen. Sorry.
I think San Francisco wins 31-20. I think Tennessee's playing better football. The run game's finally going, but Brock Purdy should have just a freaking field day on Sunday against that Titans defense. They're terrible in coverage. George Kittle should have a big game. The linebackers can't cover for crap. I mean, this is a game where, we're talking about Purdy, Joe Burrow. Like, Purdy could drop back 35 times and throw for 400 yards, and I'd be like, yep, that makes a lot of sense. So I think San Francisco wins 31-20 over the Titans.
Okay. 31-20 is what Sterling's got. Mike, what do you got?
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. It better be multiple scores. This is not a game like that I thought about with Cleveland, like just win 2-0 and get out of there. I don't care how ugly it looks, just get the win. This has to be a stomp out. This has to be a very comfortable win. Just to have that momentum.
We're at home. I agree.
And you're off a bye, and you're playing not a very good passing defense. And yeah, Kittle should eat in this game against those linebackers. But I would really just like to see the passing game get some life. So I'm gonna go, 30-17. It better be that.
Aaron, what do you think?
They have one of the worst pass defenses in the National Football League. The Tennessee Titans. This has to be one of those games where everybody eats offensively. I'm saying 35-16. The Niners' really only concern on defense is the run game. They could somehow figure out a way. I know we have a decent ranking and we're one of the top teams when it comes to run. We watch games. Me and Mike talked about this. When you actually watch the games, teams actually stop running the ball. Is the teams can get some serious chunkage in the run game. So that's their biggest thing over the quarterback is just figure out a way to stop the run, and on offense, man, throw the ball and throw it a lot. I don't care who you throw it to, they got to score. So I'm going to go 35-16 49ers.
35-16 49ers. I'm going to go slightly off of yours. I'm going to go 34-17. I think the Niners play up to par. I think they understand that this is a game they cannot let slip by. And I think San Francisco has a great understanding that every game you have to go 100 miles an hour. Like, you cannot give up any of these games because they're very, very important to the standings. So I see the Niners winning this game 34-17. They should win this game. But let me ask you this. We saw Shedeur Sanders have a big game against the Titans.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Brock Purdy should have a game similar, if not better, than Shedeur Sanders. The difference is, though, I think, is that at the end of the day, Brock Purdy isn't a guy that's like, hey, I'm going to outstat anybody. I'm going to light it up through the air. I just don't think that's his game. I think he throws for over 250 yards, probably has 3 or 2 throwing touchdowns, but he's got McCaffrey to run the ball. He has Robinson to run the ball. I think that, and special teams has done a great job. So to me, I think that Brock never has been the guy that's going to go out there and throw for 400 yards, 3 or 4 touchdowns. That's not really his game. And so to say that he should outperform Shedeur Sanders, to me, they're two different kind of quarterbacks. Sterling, what do you think about that?
Oh, Aaron, go ahead.
Go ahead.
If you're going based on the weakness of the Titans and it's their pass defense, and you kind of want to see where Brock is right now, here, December, you want him to have a strong game. Because if he comes out of this game looking kind of raggedy and a little bit, scattershot, and he's throwing some interceptions, I'm freaking worried.
Absolutely.
This is setting up either to be a game where he looks like his old self because the defense is that bad against the pass, or he comes out of this game and you're like, they're not winning a playoff game. Like that, there's 2 possibilities that happen. I'm thinking he's going to play well. I hope so. But then also, if he doesn't, I still don't think he's healthy personally. And I know a lot of people see that as an excuse. So there's that. And you want to put that into like the ball of things that I'm kind of thinking about going into that game. So he has to show out in this game if I think the Niners have a chance to actually do anything in the playoffs.
Mike.
Yeah, I don't.
Let's Sterling go. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I don't think this game against the Tennessee Titans, who've won 2 games all year, is gonna have me wavering as to how Brock can do in the playoffs. It's the Titans off a bye week. Brock's he's gonna make some push. He's gonna push the ball downfield. One of those might get picked, and okay, whatever. Like that's fine. This is a team that you can take chances, and they're not gonna score against you. Cam Ward has 9 touchdowns this year. 9. This team does not score points. They're averaging under 20 points a game this season. Yes, they're playing better. The run game's better. All that stuff is true. But like this is a game where it's like you want to get Pearsall going downfield. You want to get Kittle going downfield. You want to see what Brock can do, pushing the ball 30, 25 yards through the air. Like this is a game to try it. This is a game to see if things can work out and get some guys in motion and all not or whatnot. Their secondary is terrible. The linebackers are bad in coverage and they can't get to the quarterback. It's Arden Key. It's Jeffrey Simmons, who's just one guy who can double team and move on. Like this is a game where, if let's say Brock finishes with 280 passing yards, 2 touchdowns and a pick, I'm like, hell yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. Like, and that depends on how you do it, right? Like if that's all first half stuff and it's just, okay, now we're going to run the football and bleed the clock out for the next 2 quarters or whatnot. Like, okay, fine. Like look at the game against the Seahawks that the Titans played. They lost that game by 6 points because late in that game, the Titans started rallying against their prevent defense. They scored all their points in the first half, that being the Seahawks. Like it depends on how the game flow goes. And I think Brock could come in and throw for 280, throw 1 pick and 2 touchdowns. And we're all sitting back like, well, wash your hands and say, yep, bring on the Colts in, 2 weeks time against a grandpa playing quarterback. It's like, this game doesn't waver my thoughts on Purdy's playoff success going forward at all.
It does for me if he plays poor, which I don't think he will. But if he struggles against a bad Titans team, I'm gonna get a little worried. He struggled against the Panthers, who's they're a good team, mediocre, but he didn't perform very well, and so that made me a little worried. Mike,
yeah, my whole thing with this game is I just don't want this win to feel like a loss, by how they're playing, because every game from here on out is only going to get tougher. This is the easiest game we have left all season. And as the weeks go, each team gets a little bit tougher as, week by week. So Brock has to come out here, I think, just have a good game. Just have a good game. Be decisive with the ball. Don't have a lot of mental errors. Just play a good game and make the win feel like a win. That's all. Just make the win feel like a win. I don't want to come away from this game saying, next week when me and Aaron are on talking about the recap, going like, what happened? This felt like a loss, and this season's a wrap. So just play good, Brock.
Yeah, we said that. It's a game they got to win. They just got to win this game.
We came out of the me and Mike came out of the I think it was the Panthers game. We won that game. That game felt like a loss. I mean, Brock Purdy played like shit. He looked bad in that game. Now
win is a win.
Win is a win, but I'm a person who projects forward. It's not necessarily that he has, like, it's the Panthers and we need to. It's just for the situation being what it is and them not being good defensively. It has the makings of a game that shouldn't be an offensive struggle.
Yeah.
And if it is an offensive struggle, and mainly the reason being is because of Brock having a bad game, it is concerning to me. Because it's like, if any game is what you consider kind of like a setup for us to just dominate, it's against the Titans. They suck. They're a bad team. They have 2 wins on the year. And like Sterling even made the point, like 9 touchdowns. That's so bad. That's so bad. You should blow
Brock
the doors
Purdy
off.
has 9 touchdowns.
I'll tell you this. I want to see Mac Jones in this game. I want to see
Mac Jones. Cam Ward's played the whole season.
I want to see Mac Jones in the fourth quarter on a game where we're winning 35-3 and we don't need to have anybody playing. That's the kind of mindset game I want, personally. Yeah. Whether that means Brock is the guy or not the guy, we'll see. We'll see down the road. But I'll just play good against a bad team like you should and kick their ass. That's the expectation.
And as Mike said, the schedule only gets harder from here on out because the following week we travel to Indianapolis to play against Phillip Rivers and the Indianapolis Colts.
He weighs about as much as I do right now. My brother said he looked like me on the podium. I'm like, thanks, bro.
This is a stretch for me. I'm like, oh boy, here we go. Phillip Rivers on 10 of his kids will be taking on the Niners next week. It's gonna be a barn burner. I'm telling you.
A-base kids.
Exactly. But guys, that's gonna do it for the Cover 3 podcast. I want to thank Sterling, Aaron, Mike, I want to thank myself for being out here and talking Niners
Thank
football.
you, Dre.
Thank you. You know what? You're welcome. Niners, we all predicted they're going to win this game. They should win this game. If they don't win this game, we have bigger problems going into Indy, Chicago, and Seattle to end the season. This will determine if they can win all 4 games and win out. This could propel them possibly to the number 1 seed in the NFC. That would be incredible. Home field advantage all the way through the Super Bowl. Unbelievable.
Let's go.
Crazier things have happened, but we'll see how it plays out. Guys, thank you so much. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe to Dre Area Sports, to 49ers Access, to 49ers First Takes, and follow follow Mike on
You can give me
TikTok.
on TikTok. Yep. Fourth
Is it
and
just-
Gold and SF Gold Rush on YouTube.
There you go. There you go. Guys, from all of us, thank you for watching. However you want to support us, subscribing is the easiest way to do it, and smash the like button, and we'll see you next week. The Niners stay home to take on the Tennessee Titans this Sunday. They got to get it done. They got to win. They got to win. They can't fuck this up. They can't. They can't fuck it up. All right, guys. We'll see you next time. Peace.